Sometimes yesterday can seem a million years away, and I'll forget exactly what to say when asked about my past. Time is my enemy.
Hello, I wanted to do a video today, talk about one of the most important things that a caregiver can do, in my mind anyway, from a patient's perspective, and that is to ask for help. Caregiving has got to be the hardest job in the world. I mean, for any patient, a cancer patient, a stroke patient, but an Alzheimer's patient takes it to another level. You got to deal with this, with what their patient does, 24/7. I know with Phyllis June, I'm pretty much in the early stage still, I think, but she still has a rough road to hoe because she has to repeat everything to me because I'm not sure what's going on, and well, there's just so many things that's changed in our lives that she has to call me all the time and make sure where I'm at and what I'm doing, things like that. But what I was getting at is a caregiver needs to know when to ask for help, because I know on Memory People we have a wealth of information and posts and threads and things like that that people can get information and help from, but I'm talking about when this disease gets to the point to where you're at your last thread, you don't know what to do. And this happens all too often, I firmly believe that you need to have a plan. When I was diagnosed 2 years ago, that week we went to the attorney's office and changed everything into Phyllis June's name, hence a plan. The next week we transferred the house into her name, and all that time we were discussing, I was telling her, and I have told her since that time, about my wishes to be placed in a nursing facility when that time comes, because that time will come sooner or later. I mean, like I keep saying, I've said this over and over, but she weighs about 115 pounds and I weigh about 180, and the day is going to come that she's not going to be able to properly care for me. The reason why I say this, and I talk about this all the time, I've seen this running squad many times. You'd get on a call and you go to the house and the patient wasn't being bathed properly or fed properly, or just everything that could go wrong was going wrong. I remember one particular call I had. It was about 4 in the morning, and I happened to know this couple, and the wife was she was terminally ill, cancer patient, and she had been in a hospice. No, I correct that. She hadn't been in a hospice program as of yet, but she needed to be. So we get to the residence, and Gwen, and she was in a chair, and she needed to be moved to her bed, but she was a bigger woman, and her husband just couldn't do it. He knew he couldn't do it, so he needed help. So he wisely called 911, and we went down, and of course we assisted her to her bed, and I talked to her for a long time, and like I said, I've known these people for many years. Well, then I took her husband, while the other EMT was in the bedroom with her, I took her husband out in the kitchen, and he was just, it wouldn't have taken much for him to cry. You could just tell he was a beaten down man. And I told him, I said, Jerry, you're just overwhelmed. That's all it is. You need help. And he said, Rick, I just don't know what to do. And I said, well, we need to call hospice. We need to call them now. And he said, do you think? And I said, well, I'm positive. You need help, you know. And he had no idea what hospice would offer. So I called him for him, and I explained the situation because we deal with hospice here in the county all the time through EMS. And told him the situation. She was terminally ill, had 6 months or less, things like that. She was having trouble. She couldn't get around at all. And they assured me they'd have someone there within 2 hours. And so I hung up, and I talked to him for another, I don't even know, 10, 15 minutes anyway. And I assured him that these people knew what they were doing and they would handle everything. And that's what they do. I went back and talked to his wife then, explained it to her. And you can just see the relief in her face. Now, of course, this was a cancer patient, and it was hospice. But Alzheimer's is, it's a terminal disease. And when the patient gets to that stage of the disease, even before that, you may need to reach out for help. And I don't know, home health nurses or hospice or whoever, but there's agencies that can do this. I know a lot of people say, and I understand this completely, that, well, we just don't have the money. We don't have the money. Well, don't worry about it, because you make the right phone calls and talk to the right people, money's not going to be an issue. I can tell you there's more people on these programs that can afford it than there is that can. Generally, the people that can afford it don't need to be on these programs. So, but don't feel bad about asking for help. And that's what I tell people all the time about placing your loved one in a facility. I think it's one of the most loving things you can do for your loved one, because you understand that you can no longer take care of them. You just can't do it. And I want to be taken care of properly, and I don't want Phyllis June to feel guilty about it. These facilities are nothing like they were 20 years ago. They're clean, they're sanitary, they got big screen TVs. I mean, they got all kinds of activities. I just can't stress this enough, that the horror stories you hear about nursing homes and Alzheimer's facilities and lockdown units and all that, that's just not the case anymore. It just isn't. So my advice is, you need to have a plan. You need to, I'm not saying if your loved one was diagnosed, you got to run out and look at these nursing homes. It's not like that, but you got to keep it in mind. You're not going to find a nursing home in 3 days. You got to be on a list, generally. Not all the time, but sometimes there is a waiting list. So you got to plan. And planning is the best thing. And if you got family members that, just like us, our daughter says, well, you'll never be placed in a nursing home as long as I've got anything to do with it. Well, she doesn't. She means well. And I love her to death for that, but she's just not thinking right, because, she's got 3 kids. 3 kids and a husband. There'll come a day when I'm going to need 24/7 care. It's just not feasible. She's just not thinking correctly. But that's how people are when they're close to someone that has this disease. They want to do everything, and they will do everything. And I've heard, you probably all have, I've heard people say all the time, well, my mom and dad I'll never put them in a nursing home. Well, sometimes you're lucky and you don't have to. But these people that keep their loved ones at home just because they don't want to feel guilty, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't understand it, but I don't knock anybody that does it, unless, like I said, I was on many runs and I got a hold of the proper authorities when a patient wasn't being cared for properly. It is very easy to see. And you know, it's not that the cops or the law or the family authorities are going to come in, social services are going to come in, and somebody's going to get arrested or anything like that. It's just that these people are doing their best, and it just isn't good enough. Now, there has been cases that I know of personally when I was an investigator for the state of Ohio for these facilities, that some family members kept their loved one at home just so they keep that money, you know, their Social Security check or disability, whatever it was. You know, it happens. People are greedy. You know, I've seen it, and it happens. It's sad, but it happens. So call the authorities if you have a question. If you have a question about how a loved one's being taken care of and things like that. You know, these people have rights too. You know, Phyllis keeps me at home and just to keep the check that I'm getting, and I'm not being taken care of properly, and she's out doing whatever she's doing, and I'm being left here at home alone, or anybody that's in that situation. Well, you can't do that. You know, you just can't do that. It's no different. I mean, you just can't do it. So keep that in mind, because just remember, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Matter of fact, it's a noble thing to do. Reach out to someone else and say, listen, I need help. Help's available. So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox. But I read so many posts that people are just at the end of the rope. I know they are. And they need help. That's all it is. They need help. And there's help out there. You know, I'm telling you, you call the Alzheimer's Association, things get done. Now, I've seen it. They've helped us out personally immensely, but they help everyone out. These people say, well, they never got no help from the Alzheimer's Association. Well, I don't know. I just can't hardly believe it, because, you know, you need to talk to somebody else there or something, because these people are fantastic. You take the Alzheimer's Association hospice, I'm telling you, they got it covered. They truly got it covered. So, all right, I'm tired. Didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm going to go take a nap, I think. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you.